Hello everyone, welcome to class 10 mathematics. In this class, we are going to discuss the remaining portion of chapter 1 number system. The topics that we are going to see today is operations on real numbers, rationalizing the denominator and laws of exponents and some identities based on the irrational numbers. So let's begin with the first topic, operations on real numbers. So far we have discussed that the entire real number set can be classified as rational numbers and irrational numbers. So there is only two types of numbers in real number, or real number can be split into exactly two parts called as rational and irrational numbers. Now let's see. We have learned rational numbers have certain properties like it is associative, commutative, and it is closed in rational number. That is, if we add any two rational numbers, for example 1 plus 2, what is it? 3. It is again a rational number. Now in the same case, we need to check for the condition of irrational numbers also. That is, if we add irrational numbers, what are we going to get? We need to look at such things. Now let's begin with the basic thing. Suppose there are two numbers, root 2 plus 3. Can we add these two numbers? No. This is the maximum that we can further go up to on calculation. So this can be only written as root 2 plus 3 itself. What is the speciality? Root 2 is an irrational number, 3 is a rational number. So what is the total sum? It is an irrational number. Now let's see if it's multiplied. Root 2 into root 3. What is it? It can only be written as 3 root 2. It is still an irrational number. So we can understand the sum or difference of a rational number and an irrational number is irrational. That is, if we add two rational numbers, we have already seen that example, 2 plus 2, that will give us 4. Now, what if we add 2 and rational number and irrational number? That is the case here. It will be irrational. Now, what happens when we add two irrational numbers, root 3 plus root 4? What is it? It is again irrational. Root 3 plus root 4. Root 4 can be written as 2. So this can be written as root 3 plus 2. It is again which type of number? Irrational number. Now let's see in the case of multiplication. If we add two rational numbers, what are we going to get? We are going to get a rational number. We'll just write it down. 5 into 1 by 5. 5 is a rational, 1 by 5 is a rational number. So what is the result that we are going to get? It is 1. Again a rational. Now let's see some example for multiplication of two irrational numbers. We are going to multiply root 2 into root 5. Root 2 is irrational, root 5 is also irrational. So the resultant is 10. This is again an irrational number. But there is a condition that if you multiply an irrational number by another irrational number, the result can be rational or irrational. Let's see with an example. Suppose we are going to multiply root 2, which is a irrational number, into again an irrational number. Who is that? Root 2. What is the resultant? We are going to get 2. So multiplication of an irrational number by another irrational number will give 2. I will be providing you notes. Go through this one and try to understand. Now moving on to the next part, identities based on square roots. This is an important portion, so everyone please listen carefully. We are going to get familiarized with some identities based on square roots. The first one is the product of two irrational numbers can be written as, or if we have two numbers that will be multiplied with some roots, then the root can be given throughout and it can be written like this. We'll see an example. Here goes an example. Suppose we want to multiply root 2 into root 3. This is the problem that we need to solve. Then this can be written as root of 2 into 3. What is root of 2 into 3? It is root 6. Now, while we do something, we need to be aware of the converse also. That is, root 6 can be factorized or split into as root 2 into root 3. We'll see another example. Suppose here is root 10. Root 10 can be written as root 2 into root 5 or root 1 into root 10. This is an important criterion that we should keep in our mind. So that was the inverse. Root of a into b can be written as root a into root b. This is the first identity. Now looking at the second identity, it's about division. Suppose we have suppose we need to divide a number inside the root by another number inside the root, then this can be taken as the whole root and the ratio can be written like this. So this is an important property. We'll see an example for that also. Example 2. Suppose we want to divide root 10 upon root 2. This can be easily written as root of 10 upon 2. What is root of 10 upon 2? 5. And here there is a root also. This can be applied in the same case also. Just try by yourself. Now, the third identity is root a plus root b into root a minus root b. We have learned the methods to solve when there is a product inside the bracket. So, at times we don't need to by heart this whole identity, we can create by our own. Let's see how this can be done. So first, take the first number root a, multiply it throughout the second bracket, root a minus root b. I hope you know this method. Then take the first number, multiply throughout the second bracket, take the second number in the first bracket, multiply using the second bracket completely. Now who is the second term in the first bracket? That is root b including the positive sign, and multiply throughout the second bracket. Who is that? Root a minus root b. What happens? Root a into root a is, okay, listen one more thing. What is root 2 into root 2? Using this very same principle, this can be written as root of 2 into 2. That is root of 4. And what is root of 4? It is 2. So generally we can say root of any number into root of that number itself will give, okay, let's see how this comes. This becomes root of x into x. Root of x into x is x square. And what is root of x square? This root and square can be cancelled. It becomes x. Now let's see the same principle. Root a into a. Root a into root a becomes a. Root a into minus root b. Minus root of ab. Plus root of b into root of a. It is root of ba or root of ab itself. Now root b into minus root b. This will become minus b. So we can cancel this minus root ab plus root ab. So what it gives? A minus b. So understand this identity very thoroughly, and I am leaving the next three identities to you for writing the proof. Write down the proof by yourself in the notebook, and we'll move on to the next portion. Rationalizing the denominator. This will be helpful in the next exercise that is coming soon. So I hope everyone will do this. Now the next part is rationalizing the denominator. What is the process? Let's read it. When the denominator of an expression contains a term with a square root or a number under a radical sign, this particular symbol is called as the radical sign. We used to call it as root. The process of converting into an equivalent expression whose denominator is a rational number is called rationalizing the denominator. In simple words, this can be said as, if there is a root 2 in the denominator, we know any number of the form p by q, if there is a root or a radical sign in the denominator, if we want to remove, or the process of removing this root is called as rationalizing the denominator. What is the number in the denominator here? It's an irrational number, right? we are going to convert it into a rational number. That particular process is called as rationalizing the denominator. Now let's see how this can be done. We look at the same example itself. Example. So we are on this topic. We have completed this one. Now we are over here rationalizing the denominator. Example, there is a number 1 by root 2. We want to rationalize the denominator. Who is the denominator here? Root 2. We want to rationalize it. What is now here? It's a rational number. To change it, we just need to give a small triggering. Multiply the number in the denominator by itself. If we do anything in the denominator, we are supposed to do it in the numerator as well. So what happens? We are going to multiply root 2 and root 2 in the numerator and denominator. So what will this give? Root 2 into 1 is root 2 divided by root 2 into root 2. What is that? It is 2. So is the denominator rationalized? Yes. The denominator is changed from irrational to rational. That is called as rationalizing the denominator. Now let's see another example. If there is a question to rationalize, okay, there is an exercise questions in your textbook. Rationalize the denominator 1 by 2 plus root 3. Now let's see this, how this can be done. 1 by 2 plus root 3. Now we cannot divide it using just minus 3. It won't be enough. So we will take the conjugate of the denominator. What do you mean by conjugate? Let's see here. The number in the denominator is 2 plus root 3. The conjugate of this number is 2 minus root 3. I hope you understood. Just change the sign of the irrational part. Okay. In some problems you will have to change the rational part also. That will be discussed. Don't worry. So we are going to change the sign of the irrational number and multiply it using or multiply by numerator and denominator. So what happens? 2 minus root 3, 2 minus root 3. Now this will be clearly, this can be clearly written as 1 into 2 minus root 3. What is it? 2 minus root 3. Now what happens to the denominators? 2 plus root 3 into 2 minus root 3. 2 plus root 3 into 2 minus root 3. I am leaving this work to you. See the identity. Okay, I will do it now itself. Now there is no change in the numerator. 2 minus root 3. And what is the form of this one? A plus b into a minus b. A plus b into a minus b. What is a plus b into a minus b? A plus b into a minus b is a square minus b square. And what is a here? A is 2, b is root 3. So it becomes 2 square minus root 3 square. So it becomes 2 minus root 3 divided by 2 square is 4 minus root 3 square is 3. So the answer is 4 minus 3 is 1. 2 minus root 3 by 1 or 2 minus root 3 itself. So that is the answer. So we have, what have we done? We have converted the denominator who was an irrational number to a rational one. That's all. Now let's see the next topic. Laws of exponents for real numbers. I hope this is clear. There is some exercise questions over there. Try to solve by yourself. Now we go to the last part of our chapter, laws of exponents. Now let's move on to the last part of our chapter, laws of exponents. There are certain laws that we need to understand before getting into this topic, or we are going to learn them thoroughly. The first one, most of them are already learned by you in your lower classes. Let's see in detail. The first law is a raised to m into a raised to n. That is, if there is a number and the power is m and the same number whose power is different, that is n, then this can be written as the number to the exponent in which the numbers are added. Let's see with using an example. example is here 7. Let's try for a small number. 2 raised to 3 into 2 raised to 5. This can be written as, since 2 is the same, we can write this as 2 raised to 3 plus 5, that is 2 raised to 8. Another example. Okay, now let's see whether it is true. What is 2 raised to 3? 2 raised to 3 is 8. 2 raised to 5 is 32. And what is, okay, what this, we need to check whether this product is equal to 2 raised to 8. What is 32 into 8? 6 and 256. And we know 2 raised to 8 is nothing but 256. So this is verified. We'll give one more example. 2 raised to or 3 raised to 2 into 3 raised to 3. How will be this written? 3 raised to 2 plus 3 or 3 raised to 5. Now second identity. A raised to m. Okay, don't get confused with these two identities that I am going to say. A raised to m whole raised to n is a raised to m into n. The product of the powers. That is something or the number a to the power m is there, and if you are going to take the power of that number, that is raised to n, then the powers are to be multiplied. We'll give an example. 3 square whole cube. This should be written as 3 raised to 6, not 3 raised to 5. You understand the difference? Okay. Don't get confused. We'll see another example. 2 raised to 10 whole raised to 2. How will this be written? 2 raised to 10 into 2 or 2 raised to 20. That was the second identity. Now third identity is a raised to m by a raised to n. If we are to divide a raised to m by a raised to n, and you can say the numbers a are the same. If the numbers are same, we can do it as a raised to m minus n. Let's see examples. If there is 7 raised to 5 and 7 raised to 2, then this can be written as 7 raised to 5 minus 2 or simply 7 cube. Another example. 2 raised to 5 by 2 raised to 3. How will be this written? Since the number 2 is same, the powers can be subtracted as 5 minus 3. This will be as 2 raised to 2. And what is 2 raised to 2? It is 4. Now, last example. 2 raised to 8 by 2 raised to 12. Don't get confused. No problem. Just do the same process. 2 raised to 8 minus 12. What is 2 raised to 8 minus 12? 8 minus 12 is minus 4. That is 2 raised to minus 4. And this can be written as 1 by 2 raised to 4. The power is, if the power is negative 4, this can be taken into the denominator. We will see this clearly in the next identity. I hope this is clear up to here. Now the fourth one. Just go through the notes once you get it. Fourth identity is a raised to m into b raised to n. If the base numbers are different and the powers are the same, this can be written as the product of numbers to the power n. Let's see an example. 2 raised to 5 into 3 raised to 5. This can be written as 2 into 3 whole raised to 5. Or it will be 5 raised to 5. Let's see an example. 2 raised to 3 into 3 raised to 2. Sorry, this is not right. Suppose there is such number 2 raised to 2 into 3 raised to 2. We want to find the value of this particular number. So the powers are the same. So numbers can be written as 2 into 3 whole raised to 2. 2 into 3 is 6. 6 square is 36. Now let's verify. What is 2 raised to 2? It is 4. What is 3 raised to 2? It is 9. And what is 4 into 9? It is 36. We have got the same answer. That's the verification. Now let's see the fifth and sixth one. That's what I told you. This is not an identity. This is just a relation that you should understand while learning exponents. Fifth, I have categorized it as the fifth identity, and that is 1 by a is same as a raised to 1. Okay, 1 by a same as a raised to 1. If there is a number in the denominator, clearly 5 is nothing but 5 raised to 1, right? So 1 by a is 1 by a raised to 1. Here, if the denominator it has a power 1, when it goes to the numerator, it becomes a raised to minus 1. Let's see another example. 1 by b cube. What it will become? B raised to minus 3. Now, b raised to minus 5. How will you convert this into a 1 by something format? It can be written as 1 by b raised to 5. That's all. Generally, the generalization is what I have written as the sixth identity. Generally, for any number a, any rational number a, 1 by a raised to n can be written as a raised to minus n. So this is an important identity that you should learn. And that's all. Now let's see some random questions based on this part. Simplify. Okay, exercise 1.6. There are a lot of questions over there. We are going to do some of them. Fourth sub question in the third one. 7 raised to 1 by 2 into 8 raised to 1 by 2. Why I have took this question is, I'll tell you why I have took this one. Now, since the powers are the same, numbers can be multiplied together. 7 into 8 whole raised to 1 by 2. What is 7 into 8? 56 whole raised to 1 by 2. Now, the important part is, if there is a number like this, that is power is not a whole number, there is a slight difference in how we are going to write it. This is same as root of 56. So, any number to the power 1 by 2 means root of that number. For example, 4 raised to 1 by 2 is nothing but root of 4. And what is root of 4? It is 2. So, whenever you see 4 raised to 1 by 2, you can write it as 2. Now, 8 raised to 1 by 3. This means cubic root of 3. Sorry, cubic root of 8. That is cubic root of 8. Now, 16 raised to 1 by 4 means fourth root of 16. Or generally we can say a raised to 1 by n is nth root of a. Nth root of a. That is, if it is given as 50 raised to 1 by 12, 50 raised to 1 by 12, this can be written as 12th root of 50. And you know what is third root of 8? What is that? 2. Fourth root of 16 is, what is it? 2. So, take all these things in your notebook and learn this properly. We'll do one more question. 1 by 3 cube whole raised to 7. 1 by 3 cube whole raised to 7. Now we have learned, this is the question, and let's try the answer. We know a by b whole raised to n is nothing but a raised to n by b raised to n. So we can write 1 by 3 cube as 1 raised to 7 divided by 3 raised to 3 whole raised to 7. And what is 1 raised to 7? 1 raised to any number is 1 itself. So 1 by, and this is of the form a raised to b whole raised to c. What is a raised to b whole raised to c? It is a raised to bc. So 1 by 3 raised to 3 into 7, that is 3 raised to 21. Or this can be written as 3 raised to minus 21. Both of them are correct. So do the rest of the questions, and if there is any problem with the question, any of the questions in the exercise, please message me personally.